The following is a production of Hometown and Home Country Radio Sports.
Chafe winds, payoff pitch. Cold strike free. Bishop Garrigan's on to the next round. Peterson flies the one towards fairly deep right field. That one's going to be over everyone's head for a base hit. Coming home to score is Bodie. Peterson on her way to second base, and she slides in safely. Hold that bag, Molly Peterson. It's 1-0 Bishop Garrigan. Hard ground ball down the third base line. Fair. Hoagland coming around third base. She will score easily. RBI single by Hannah Marin. 1-0 pitch. Marin flies that one in the air, medium deep left field. Beckman going back on it. Beckman near the fence. That ball is going to carry out of here. Hannah Marin, solo home run. The Gold Bears go up 3-2. She got that one into the jet stream, and it carried and carried and carried.
Video streaming on the Algona Radio YouTube channel is brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, community owned for community benefit. Kemna Auto Center, where it's not just about the car, it's about the care. Iowa State Bank, helping people succeed. PMC Advantage Insurance Services. Having the advantage makes all the difference. And Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident. Now, here's Hometown and Home Country Radio Sports Director, Tyler Lance.
For the first and only time this week, due to Mother Nature, we are bringing you Bishop Garrigan softball on KLGA Hometown Radio and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. As tonight, it's top of Iowa West action with the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears hosting the Lake Mills Bulldogs. It has been a rainy week thus far for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears, with games against Belmont Clemmy on Monday night and Central Springs on Tuesday night rained out. We were going to try to bring you that Central Springs game, but Mother Nature had other plans, and now the Golden Bears are stuck with just one game this week, but a chance for the Golden Bears to make it a good one against a Lake Mills team they already defeated earlier this year, 17-5. That was an outstanding game, an offensive outburst when the Golden Bears had 20 hits. They had 4 homers in that game. They're going to try to carry that over to this one as well. The most recent game for Bishop Garrigan was a 20-9 win over West Hancock on Friday night, so offense is playing well right now, but are they going to be sharp here for all that time off? That is the thing to look for in tonight's game against Lake Mills. It's the 5-6 Golden Bears and the 2-11 Bulldogs coming up on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. Before we get to today's first pitch, we're going to get a few thoughts of Bishop Garrigan head coach Paige Purdy right now on Hometown Radio KLGA. We're talking right now with Bishop Garrigan head coach Paige Purdy. Coach, we're at about the halfway point of the season here, so figured we'd check in and talk a little Golden Bears softball right now. But as we start off, let's go back to Friday night. That was the most recent game for the Golden Bears because unfortunately Mother Nature got the best of us early this week. Friday night, you guys kind of get a get-right game against West Hancock. You win that one 20-9. So overall, how big would you say a win like that was for your guys' confidence?
Definitely great for our confidence. It was a great confidence booster. I was really looking forward to bringing that in against that Belmont, who we barely lost to that first time. I was really hoping to bring that momentum into that game on Monday. But weather got the best of us, like you just said, and we just didn't get to play that game Monday. But we're hoping to keep that rallying up until our game against Lake Mills at home tomorrow. But it was a great win. Overall, it was a great team win in general. We had a ton of hits. We were hitting the ball really well. We had a few errors, but our bats were going enough to where we still were able to overcome those errors with how many runs we scored.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the first half of the season. You guys come into this game against Lake Mills with a 5-6 record, and I want to start off with some of the positive things that happened in half number one. The run production's been great for the team, averaging over 10 runs per game, and the lineups looked really good. So, as a batting order, what are some things that you feel are standing out that have gone well?
Obviously, Zoe kind of came in and we started her in that role that she ended the year with last year, and now she's really her swing has kind of come alive, and so we're really using her as more of an RBI hitter. So we have her in the 3-hole right now, and Hannah Marin's she has 6 home runs, and we've played 11 games. So her bat's going well, and she's scoring a lot of RBIs right now. We have a lot in the bottom that are producing for us currently. Shiloh's been hitting the ball really well. She got her first career home run this year. Molly Peterson, who has been injured, hopefully going to see her back in the lineup, just maybe DHing tomorrow. She's been hitting the ball well. Overall, our lineup's just pretty solid top to bottom. You have Alyssa, who's pretty much on base consistently, whether she's walking or she's getting on an error or she's getting a hit. She's usually on base, so she's one that has a lot of runs right now. Jenna Peterson's hitting the ball coming in as a freshman. She's hitting it really well. Carly Nielsen is putting the ball in play when we need to score some runs or when we need to rally with 2 outs. So really up and down the lineup is just we're really solidifying ourselves, and we've kind of pulled our bunt game out a little bit this year and working on bunting. We've got some bunts and some sack bunts down. So just all together, our lineup just is pretty solid this year.
One of the things you mentioned early in that response is the fact that Zoe Montag's been in that 3-hole, and really, she's been in that power hitting role this year. You know, a couple more home runs, swinging away a little bit more rather than bunting or slap bunting. What sort of led to that change in philosophy and maybe change in the batting order of Montag?
I kind of knew freshman year when we started to work on her slap with her and really didn't get her in until like slapping until sophomore year. I knew that she had a power swing. She just really needed to learn to see the ball more. And so we turned her into that slapper so that she was speedy and on the bases and getting on the ball more and seeing it better. And so I knew coming into this year that I was going to need more power in my lineup. And so I know either way that if I need her to put a bunt down, she can put a bunt down. I know if I need her to put her slap down, she can put a slap down. I know she can power hit. So it's really nice overall. She's a great hitter. So what really transitioned that is just the confidence that she had going in, knowing that she could score those runs, and then allowing her to, in practice, swing away a little bit more and showing me that she had that confidence to do that again this year.
Well, Coach, going into the second half of the season, I'm sure one of the things the team's focused on is doing a little better job of run prevention. Part of that is pitchers maybe walking a few less batters, and part of that, too, is being a little sharper defensively. So can you dive into some of the specifics of that and how you kind of plan to get the runs down for the opposing team a little bit?
Our pitchers are kind of starting to really come alive. Brooklyn threw really well against Britt. She threw a complete game against Brent on Friday. So we're hoping to really just either switch out our pitchers quicker, not allowing the opposing team to get used to our pitchers as much as they have been, or really just making sure that our pitchers are having that confidence to be able to just throw strikes, and then knowing our defense is going to make those plays and not have as many errors. Like today in practice, we worked a lot on really solidifying those errors and overcoming them and pushing through them, and knowing it's okay in practice to make an error, but in a game we need to push through and still make a play. So really just, like you said, getting rid of some of those errors is really going to benefit us, and making sure that our pitchers are more confident in themselves.
And we knew coming in it was going to be a young pitching staff. We've seen a lot of Brooklyn Birdie and Rakai Nielsen so far. We've seen a few innings from Addie Bartolo as well. Do you anticipate it's going to be those three going forward? You know, do you see any of the other 8th graders or someone like Alyssa Hoagland mixing in there? How do you sort of see this rotation playing out in the second part of the year?
I really feel like those three are pretty much going to be our solidified. Going forward, I think that's really going to be who you're mostly going to see. Alyssa might see an inning here or there, but really I feel like those three are going to be, whether it's starting in Addie and pulling in Brooklyn or Rakaya, or starting Brooklyn and pulling in Addie or Rakaya, just kind of going through those three and just really using the benefit of having so many pitchers, not having to rely on just one of them.
Well, Coach, hopefully you start to get a few more games in here, obviously, and Mother Nature can cooperate with us a little bit. But as you look at the season coming up here, what are some big things that you're looking for from the team, just as far as steps forward or progress that you want to see in the second part of the year?
I really want to see us come out and battle with the teams that we may have lost to, like Belmont and Eagle Grove and North Union. I really want to see us come out and really just battle against those teams, go up and show that we've made some improvements, and go out and maybe get some wins against them, just to show, hey, we started low, but now let's end our season on a high note. You always want to end on a high note, so hopefully that's what we see moving forward.
That's Bishop Garrigan head softball coach Paige Purdy for midseason thoughts here on Hometown Radio KLGA. When we come back, it'll be the first pitch between the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and Lake Mills Bulldogs on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
More sports club members.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Reeves Wicked Good Bar and Grill, for wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeves.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants where everyone counts.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Coach Purdy, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
Live from Bishop Garrigan High School is top of Iowa West softball action on Hometown Radio KLGA as the 5 and 6 Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears take on the 2 and 11 Lake Mills Bulldogs. This week's kind of like a football week, just one game to focus on for the Golden Bears this week due to Monday and Tuesday being rained out, as tonight they take on Lake Mills. Towing the rubber right now will be Brooklyn Birdie, the starting pitcher for the Golden Bears. Birdie has pitched in 10 games this season, none of them starts. Her record 4-3, her ERA 8.18. Birdie has struck out 14 batters and walked 40 in her 31 2/3 innings pitched, and opponent batters hitting .218 against the Bishop Garrigan freshman. For Lake Mills, their starting lineup looks like this. They'll lead things off with the third baseman Reagan Ham, Gabby Brandenburg in right field hitting second, Keely Joint, the shortstop, hitting third, Bailey Dangstead at first base hitting cleanup, Cora Sauer at second base batting fifth, Reese Delger in center field batting sixth, Maya Peterson at catcher batting seventh, Afton Dean in left field hitting eighth, Hillary Hansen, the designated player, batting ninth, and the flex player is the starting pitcher, Cadence Barden. Bishop Garrigan will get you their defense here as this game goes on, but it is Shiloh Trainer behind home plate tonight. Hannah Marins at third base, Carly Nielsen at shortstop, Lillian Erpeling-Wickman at second base, Zoe Montag at first base. In left field, it's Emma Garman. In center field, Alyssa Hoagland, and in right field, Jenna Peterson. It's the Golden Bears and it's the Bulldogs of Lake Mills for the second time this season. Bishop Garrigan winning back on May 30th by a final count of 17-5. A game when 4 different Golden Bear players homered, as it'll be Reagan Ham, the junior for Lake Mills, leading it off. Ham batting a robust .355 this season for the Lake Mills Bulldogs, standing into the box against Brooklyn Birdie. And the 5 and 6 Golden Bears, who won their most recent game against West Hancock. Birdie winds and delivers, and tonight's first pitch is upstairs for ball one, and we are underway from Bishop Garrigan High School. Beautiful sunny skies, 83 degrees your current temperature, and a perfect night for softball action. Maybe a bit on the warm side, but if you folks don't like sweating, I'd recommend staying in tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, because it's going to be a hot summer here in Algona, as that ball is ripped towards third base, bobbled by Marin, throw to first base is high, and Ham going to beat that play out anyways. That was a hot smash down the third base line. Marin tried to play that on the backhand, but could only knock it down, and once that bobble happened, that allowed Ham to reach first base safely. So Lake Mills not wasting a whole lot of time with Reagan Ham getting on base to start this one off, and getting the bat over to Gabby Brandenburg, the freshman outfielder. Brandenburg batting .219 so far this season, bats left-handed, out of a slightly leaned over stance, squared in that left-handed box as the pitch misses down and away for ball one from Brooklyn Birdie. Lake Mills tonight, they are wearing the yellow uniforms with the script Lake Mills in the front and underlined. They have the purple numerals front and back of the jersey, and the player names on the back of the uniform as well. It's kind of like a t-shirt jersey being worn by Lake Mills. The 1-0 pitch. Upstairs for a ball. It's off the glove of the trainer into the backstop, and that will allow Ham to advance to second base for Lake Mills. They have the purple uniform pants, the white high socks. Meanwhile, Golden Bears, they have the all blacks tonight, absorbing that sunlight here as the Golden Bears have the black uniform pants, black uniform tops with the gold bears on the front, gold numerals front and back, and the BG and cross logo intertwined on both of the shoulders of the jerseys. The motion and the pitch by Birdie. That one's down and away for a ball, and she falls behind 3-0 against Gabby Brandenburg. Golden Bears playing straight up in the outfield for Brandenburg, who's followed by Joint in the batting order. Runner at second, nobody out for Lake Mills in the top half of the first inning. Birdie back into the pitching rubber, winds and fires, and catches the outside corner for a called strike, making the count 3 balls and 1 strike. A small breeze here tonight, but that flag out in center field, not doing a whole lot. Just a few of the treetops that are out beyond the outfield fence, moving slightly in the wind. That scoreboard out towards right center here at Bishop Garrigan, as Birdie rocks and delivers. And that is a bunt on a 3-1 pitch, tapped foul third base side. And Brandenburg now faces a full count, 3-2 against Birdie. The dimensions in the outfield, 180 down the left field line, 210 to dead center field, and 180 down the right field line here from Bishop Garrigan High School. Lake Mills trying to punch across an early run against Bishop Garrigan as Birdie has battled back with a 3-2 count against Brandenburg. She rocks and delivers. And that is a little flare for base side. Marin is going to give it a chase, and she cannot quite get to it. That ball did land in play, but Marin was approaching the fence there on the third base side rapidly, and the fence and the ball and Marin were all kind of arriving at the same time there, so Marin will avoid the head-on collision, and the count will stay alive. 3-2 here for Brandenburg. Brandenburg has struck out 7 times this season. She's walked 6 as she fouls it one straight back over the press box. Brandenburg having a good battle here against Birdie, who refuses to give in, and the count full still at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Like we said, the field drenched in sunshine. The home plate area on the first base side, a little bit in the shade. We'll see how that plays out as the night goes on. Birdie with the payoff pitch. Foul back again, almost the exact same spot right over the press box. If Brandenburg keeps swinging like that, we may get one up here in the press box at some point tonight, although that has not happened yet, to my knowledge. We will see, though. That's got that trajectory if she straightens it out a little bit. In the meantime, though, Birdie trying to win this 3-2 count battle after a couple of foul balls by Brandenburg. Birdie's 3-2 delivery, and she missed outside for ball 4. What a battle that was, and it's won by Brandenburg. Lake Mills with first and second. Nobody out for the number 3 hitter, Keely Joint. Joint, a .425 hitter with 5 RBI for Lake Mills. Lake Mills, for a 2-11 team, they have a very good team batting average, hitting .307 on the season, but haven't gotten the clutch hits when they've needed them as that pitch is upstairs for a ball, 1-0 count. And on the other side, much like Bishop Garrigan, Lake Mills has struggled in the run prevention department. As we'll talk about in the bottom half of the inning, Lake Mills has the worst ERA in the top of Iowa West, a team ERA of .968. So they've been involved in some high-scoring games, much like the Golden Bears have, as the 1-0 pitch, way upstairs for a ball, and it's a 2-0 count. Birdie falling behind a couple of early hitters here as Joint bats. Dagstead on deck for Lake Mills, and an early scoring opportunity. First and second, nobody out for the Bulldogs in the top of the first. Just past the 6 o'clock hour here on Hometown Radio, KLGA Algona, 92.7 FM, and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream as Joint takes a wild cut on the 2-0 pitch and comes up dry. Count goes to 2-1. As always, I'm Tyler Lance with you here tonight. Beanie Bodie not joining us for this one, but as the folks who know Beanie know, he is always slinging pumpkins in the fall, and this time of year you are getting ready for pumpkin season if you're Beanie, as the 2-1 pitch is delivered. There's a little tapper, and that is foul. It hit Joint in the batter's box as the count evens 2-2. Now, Beanie this year, he wants to break the world record for largest pumpkin ever grown, and he thinks the best way to do that is by visiting Chernobyl to grow a radioactive pumpkin. Now, don't worry, folks, he's wearing all the PPE you could imagine, so no radiation damage there for Beanie, but he's getting some radioactive seeds and planting them over in Chernobyl, and then he'll check back in the fall. Joint check swing, and she held back. That pitch was up and away for a ball, and she held back on the swing as the count runs full at 3-2. So Birdie trying to avoid another walk. Garrigan pitchers have combined to walk 73 batters this year, by far the most in the top of Iowa West. As Birdie delivers the 3-2 pitch. There's a roller towards shortstop, charged by Nielsen. She'll go to third base on the backhand, and the ball is dropped. Everyone's going to be safe for Lake Mills. That was a backhand shovel play by Nielsen. And I wonder if Marin maybe had her vision blocked there by the runner. Now, the shovel was a little bit low to third base, but it came in on the fly, and I just think the runner hand was maybe in the vision of Marin that time. So that'll be another error on the Golden Bears. They've committed unofficially to this inning, and the bags are full of Lake Mills Bulldogs, and a chance for a massive start here on the road for Lake Mills. Number 4 hitter Bailey Dagstead, out of a crouch stance with that bat vertical above the back shoulder, takes ball 1 from Birdie. Dagstead, the most dangerous hitter on Lake Mills power-wise, .368 batting average, 2 homers and 11 runs driven in, the team leader in home runs and RBI. Hits out of the deep crouch, 1-0 pitch. That one grazed the outside corner for a called strike. Count even at 1-1 from Birdie. Bishop Garrigan, they've had a lot of success against Lake Mills. 15-3 against the Bulldogs dating back to 2015. Golden Bears have won their last 4 meetings over Lake Mills. Some very high-scoring games in those matchups. As the 1-1 pitch, Dagstead, healthy cut and the miss. Birdie trying to keep that pitch outside to make it 1-2. Outside is a good place to work to Dagstead. You want to pitch her in a zone where the worst you can do is hit a single against you. What you don't want to do is lay one down the middle of the plate where she drives one out to left field and you're down early in this game 4-0. Bases are full, 1-2 pitch, and that is a called strike 3. Dagstead thought that one was outside, but she is caught looking, and a big first out of the inning delivered by Brooklyn Birdie and the Golden Bears. It'll be Cora Sauer, sophomore for Lake Mills, now batting, that .297 hitter. Sauer, Lake Mills' stud on the basketball court, and a very productive hitter here on the softball diamond as she stands in with the bases full of Lake Mills Bulldogs, and now 1 out. Golden Bears do bring the infield in a little bit as they want to get that forced play out at home. Sauer slightly choked up with the hands pulled into her body, hits out of a squared stance, and takes that first pitch up high from Birdie for a ball, 1-0 count. Bishop Garrigan's outfield relatively shallow here for Sauer. Potential to try for a play at the plate on a fly ball to the outfield. No score, but it's Ham at third base, Brandenburg at second, and Joint at first. Squaring a Sauer, she pulls the bat back, and she takes a cold strike. Birdie brought that one low and in, caught that corner to even the count 1-1. Trainer calling out the defensive signals from behind home plate for Bishop Garrigan. You're thinking, safety squeeze, what do you do here? Ground ball in the infield, what do you do? Fly ball to the outfield. Do you want to take a chance on the out at home? 1-1 pitch, Sauer squares, she pulls the bat back again, and it's a 2-1 count. Again, if a strike on her, I don't think she's doing that just to take. She is thinking safety squeeze here, but hasn't seen a pitch to her liking to try to bunt it. You're not going to give a birdie a strike here when she already has a strike in the count. Sauer back into that squared stance. Infield has crept in even further. 2-1 pitch, and it's up high for a ball, 3-1 count. Birdie in danger of walking in an early run here. That safety squeeze play is not easy when it's a force play at home plate. That's the other thing to consider. There's no tag play necessary. Garrigan can just touch home plate and get the out if the bunt isn't placed correctly. 3-1 pitch. It's bunted first base side up the line, and no one's going to get it. No one is going to grab the bunt, and Lake Mills takes a 1-0 lead. Trainer started out from behind home plate, but then she slammed on the brakes, thinking Birdie was going to come get it. Birdie, though, seeing Trainer going out, she stopped as well, and both of them look at each other as the bunt rolls up the first base line. Sauer placed that one well, where it caused a miscommunication between pitcher and catcher. Nobody took charge of that play, and Lake Mills grabs a 1-0 lead on the early defensive miscue by Bishop Garrigan. That's one of those tweener plays. Trainer was thinking, grab the ball and go back to home plate as she absorbs the ball in the dirt. Ball one to Reese Delger, the center fielder. But that was far enough away from home plate where it would have been tough for her to get back. That may have just been a play where if you're Garrigan, obviously Monday morning quarterback here, but settling for the out at first base might not have been the worst thing in the world there, just conceding the run. 1-0 count on Reese Delger, sophomore outfielder, and she'll take upstairs for a ball. 2-0 count. Center fielder for Lake Mills. Delger batting .323 on the season. Brother Nash Delger, outfielder on the Lake Mills baseball team, who Bishop Garrigan will be seeing tomorrow night. And you'll be seeing here on the Algona Radio YouTube stream as the 2-0 pitch. There's a line drive through into left center field for a base hit. Coming home to score is Brandenburg. Joint is right behind her, and it's 3-0 Lake Mills. And it's a cutoff play, and Garrigan has a runner in between second and third base. Sauer is caught up. Sauer running back to second base, and the tag is applied by Erpelding Wickman. Well, it's a 2-run single for Reese Delger, 3-0 Lake Mills, but folks, you've heard me all season long say Garrigan's got to do a better job of hitting their cutoff man, and that is exactly why. Even though 2 runs score on that play, Lake Mills got overly aggressive on the base paths, trying to take an extra bag with one of those trail runners, and because Bishop Garrigan hit their cutoff man with Zoe Montag coming all the way off of first base, they were able to catch the runner on a rundown and record the out at second. So even though it is a run-scoring single, it is a job well done on the cutoff play, as that's out number 2 of the inning. There's a fly ball to shallow left field by Maya Peterson, and that will drop harmlessly into foul territory. Count goes to 0-1. Peterson for Lake Mills, the starting catcher, as she is batting .241 on the season with 3 runs driven in. Reese Delger, though, came into the game with 3 RBI, hits the big 2-run single to put Lake Mills on top 3-0. Couldn't ask for a much better start on the road if you're Lake Mills, as they capitalize on the bases loaded, nobody out situation. Now runner at first of 2 outs. Birdie pitches. Birdie finds the corner, stealing second base, and sliding in there safely is going to be Reese Delger. Delger swipes her 5th bag of the season. She has not been caught. And Lake Mills pushes another runner to scoring position, although Birdie has worked ahead in the count. 0-2 on Peterson. Afton Dean in the on-deck circle for Lake Mills. Birdie with the motion, and the 0-2 offering. There's a one-hopper to shortstop. Nielsen tries to backhand it. She knocks it down, fires to first, gets the out. Nielsen did a good job of staying with that play, and Bishop Garrigan will limit Lake Mills to 3 runs. But a 2-run single by Reese Delger does a little damage there, and Lake Mills jumps on top early, 3-0. Lake Mills ahead of Bishop Garrigan, heading to the bottom of 1 on KLGA Hometown Radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass. For all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires. They're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Grassmasters. Growing satisfied customers.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Glenn's Green Thumb. From a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Bottom of the first inning from Bishop Garrigan High School. It's Lake Mills 3 and Bishop Garrigan nothing in this top of Iowa West softball matchup. Golden Bears will have Alyssa Hoagland, Jenna Peterson, and Zoe Montag 1, 2, 3 in the batting order as Hoagland takes, and that one is in there for a called strike one from tonight's starting pitcher, Cadence Barden. Barden, the junior, has pitched in 12 games, 11 of them starts. Her record 2-9. She has pitched 65 innings with an 8.83 ERA as she delivers. Hoagland tapper first base side foul, 0-2. Barden on the season of 47 strikeouts and 26 walks. Opponents batting .383 against Barden. Well, Lake Mills and Bishop Garrigan, they have both had their issues with run prevention, but it's kind of been different stories in how they got there. The Golden Bears have just had too many walks this season as that pitch almost dropped into the zone, but I think the home plate umpire called a pitch violation with the separation of the hands there from Barden. But the issue for Bishop Garrigan, a lot of it on the pitching staff has been too many free passes and then a lot of two-out base hits against the Golden Bears. So, like I said, the Golden Bears have walked the most batters pitching staff-wise in the top of Iowa West, but Lake Mills, they've kept the walks down. Barden is going to throw strikes tonight, but Lake Mills has been hit hard. Barden and then the two other pitchers who have thrown for Lake Mills, they've combined to allow a .362 opposing batting average, the highest opposing average allowed in the top of Iowa West. So both these teams, as we enter what is essentially the second half of the season, really looking to see steps forward from new pitchers taking over this year after the previous pitchers graduated. 2-2 count, up high to Hoagland for a ball, 3-2. Of course, Golden Bear fans know all about Ella Schaaf and the great pitching she did over her years at Bishop Garrigan. Donnie Byers was the previous Lake Mills starting pitcher, who the Golden Bears saw a lot of, but graduated after last year. 3-2 to Hoagland. There's a little flare job third base side into foul territory, and backpedaling to make the catch is Ham, as that is out number one of the inning. So 1 out, nobody on base, and Jenna Peterson, the batter for Bishop Garrigan. Peterson hit her lone home run of the season last time these teams matched up. It's been an excellent campaign at the plate with a .432 batting average, as well as 1 homer and 9 runs driven in for Jenna Peterson. Peterson, the left-hander for the Golden Bears, hits near the front of that box, attacks and swings and misses at that first pitch. As Barden pulled a string on her and slowed that one down, nothing had won the count. Defensively for Lake Mills, it's Peterson behind home plate, Ham at third base, Joint at shortstop, Sauer at second, Dagstead at first. Barden's pitch, waved and missed by Peterson, and the count 0-2. Peterson stepping in the bucket with that front foot. She's trying to pull that ball to right field, but if Barden's going to soft toss, sometimes the best approach is to try to drive one to the gaps where those 195 signs are. As the 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3. Ball's dropped behind home plate, but Peterson tosses the first to retire Peterson. That is Maya Peterson retiring Jenna Peterson, and Barden went slowest on that at bat, and Peterson was just out in front of the ball. 2 outs, nobody on base, and Zoe Montag, who so far has a career high of 4 home runs standing in, .417 batting average, 4 homers, and 16 runs driven in. Montag, number 5 on the top of Iowa West in RBI, takes that first pitch as it rolls into the zone for strike 1. Like we said, Barden not throwing with a ton of velocity, but those pitches have a little sink to them, and she will force the Bishop Garrigan hitters to stay back and be patient. Montag out of the open left-handed stance, watches that one, just a bit off the previous spot as the count evens at 1-1. Right now, Zoe Montag and Hannah Marin are first and second in the conference on home runs. Marin, who we could potentially see next, has 6 home runs, Montag with 4. The 1-1 pitch by Barden. Montag with a massive cut as she was faking home run number 5 right there. There's a street outside of this ballpark with a few houses behind it, and she was faking home run all the way to the houses. Count goes 1 ball and 2 strikes. 3-0 Lake Mills on top of Bishop Garrigan in the first inning. Barden trying to work a 1-2-3 frame for Lake Mills. The 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Ball's dropped by Peterson. She'll throw to first base. And the throw is in time as Dagstead holds the bag, and Montag is retired. So a nice inning thrown by Barden for Lake Mills. Back-to-back strikeouts, and the Golden Bears go quietly in the first. It's Lake Mills 3 and Bishop Garrigan nothing. Moving to the second on KLGA 92.7.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Molly Peterson, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
We move to the second inning as Brooklyn Birdie goes back to work. Birdie puts that one over the plate for strike 1 to the number 8 hitter, Afton Dean. It'll be Dean followed by Hillary Hansen and Reagan Ham this inning for Lake Mills. On top of Bishop Garrigan 3-0. And what an inning worked by Cadence Barden for Lake Mills, the junior setting down the Golden Bear lineup 1-2-3. 0-1 pitch from Birdie, rolled towards second base, charged by Erpeling Wickman. She unloads quickly and retires Dean at first base for out number 1. Molly Peterson back in the lineup tonight for Bishop Garrigan. She's the designated player tonight, but she won't play her normal second base as they work her back in after an injury suffered in the CYO tournament a couple of weekends ago. Lillian Erpeling Wickman manning second base of Carly Nielsen at shortstop. That's your middle infield tonight for Bishop Garrigan. 1 out and nobody on as Hillary Hansen will be the batter. Hansen with 1 hit and 3 at-bats so far this season. Another lefty for Lake Mills who stands a good ways off the plate. Slightly open stance and takes that pitch down and away for a ball, 1-0 count. Hansen wearing jersey number 0 for Lake Mills. Normally listed at number 3 on the roster, but different jerseys here tonight for Lake Mills. As Hansen bats for a 1-0 count right now. Garrigan outfield shallow and straight up. Birdie skips that one in there for a ball, 2-0 count. We'll see if the Golden Bears can answer here for a few runs later in the game, already trailing 3-0. This Bishop Garrigan offense, they've been productive. That has been overlooked here in the start to the season. .357 batting average for the Golden Bears is third in the top of Iowa West. And they've scored more runs than every team in the conference besides North Union, who thus far has not lost a conference game. Pitches upstairs for a ball, and it's a 3-0 count now on Hansen. Ham waiting on deck for Lake Mills. The Golden Bears will work for this conference a second time around now. You've seen everyone once. You're going to start seeing teams a second time for Bishop Garrigan. They were supposed to see Belmont Clummy on Monday night as the 3-0 pitch by Birdie. And that one is a couple inches outside for ball 4 as Hansen draws the 4-pitch walk, and it'll be a 1-out base runner for Lake Mills, and the leadoff hitter, Reagan Ham, stepping to the dish. Ham reached on the air at third base her first time up, 0-for-1 today. A lot of food names at Lake Mills. You used to have Caleb Bacon on their basketball team. He was a really good player. You had Bennett Berger on the basketball team as well. Boys team back in the day. His trainer fakes the throw back to first base. Ball 1 from Birdie. And then Reagan Ham here for Lake Mills. So, as you can tell, folks, I did not eat dinner before coming here tonight, in case it isn't obvious enough, as Ham bats for a 1-0 count. Brandenburg on deck for Lake Mills. Birdie's 1-0 pitch. Rolled foul through the third base coaching box, evening the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Like we said, Garrigan, no game Monday night against Belmont Clummy. And Tuesday night, they were supposed to face Central Springs, a state-ranked Class 2A team. That game getting rained out, and I would imagine that one will not get rescheduled with the conference games that need to be played going forward. 1-1 pitch. Upstairs for a ball, stealing second base is Hansen. The tag is applied, but not in time. Erpeling Wickman took that throw behind second base and tried to lunge forward to make the tag, but couldn't get it on the base runner in time as Lake Mills puts another runner in scoring position. It seemed there was a little indecisiveness between Nielsen, the shortstop, and Erpeling Wickman, the second baseman, as to who was going to cover the bag because not everything was right on the bag. Trainer's throw split the bag in half, but like I said, Erpeling Wickman had to lunge forward to try to tag that runner. 2-1 count now on the batter, Reagan Ham. She'll take that one downstairs. It skips away, and advancing to third base is Hansen. So 3-1 count, runner at third, and only 1 out for Lake Mills. But like I was saying, Garrigan was slated to face a very tough Central Springs team. Central Springs last year did not win the top of Iowa East, but prior to that, they had won 9 conference titles in a row. As the 3-1 pitch by Birdie, rolled towards third base, just foul. Count goes full at 3-2. In fact, prior to last year, Central Springs had won so many conference titles in a row, you have to go back further than the top of Iowa East. Back when they were in the old Corn Bowl Conference, some of the current top of Iowa East teams, some Iowa Star teams in that conference. I'll tell you what, folks, if you don't have time to talk about the Corn Bowl Conference, you need to open up your schedule and rearrange some priorities, as that pitch is outside for a ball and Ham draws the walk. Beanie Bodie did not have time to talk about the Corn Bowl Conference. That's why he's not here tonight, as it's a 3-0 Lake Mills lead. 2 walks here and a couple of wild pitches that put runners at the corners for Lake Mills with only 1 out, and threatening to extend here of Gabby Brandenburg, who walked her first time up coming to the plate. We'll see how soon Reagan Ham takes off at first base. Does not have a steal yet this season, but sometimes you can just take second on indifference. The wind and the pitch. There's a roller towards second base. Erpeling Wickman has to charge. She has to scoop to first base, and she gets the out. Coming home to score from third is Hanson as it's 4-0 Lake Mills. Gabby Brandenburg does her job of an RBI ground out. But Bishop Garrigan does well to get the out at first base, or do they? No, they do not get the out at first base. I beg your pardon. They were going to say it was bobbled at first base by Zoe Montag, so the ball beat her there, but that ball was not securely taken in by Montag. So it'll be first and second now for Lake Mills, and 4-0 Bulldogs. Bishop Garrigan really digging themselves into an early hole as Birdie delivers. Joint hits that one off the end of the bat over the screen right-handed side, and the count goes to 0-1. Joint reached on an error her first time up, as Bishop Garrigan, unofficially by my book, has already committed 3 errors tonight. 2 in the first inning, and then we'll call that last one an error, although that's a play that was almost made by the Golden Bears as that pitch is upstairs for a ball. Count evens at 1-1. Outfield straight up for Joint. Shortstop for Lake Mills, as trainer continues to call out defensive signals from behind home plate. That is a big role for the catcher, especially on balls hit to the outfield. Those cut-off plays, you want to hear that catcher yelling, cut free, or cut four, depending on what base it's going to. And, of course, there's the communication between pitches as far as where the defense is supposed to go when. That is your quarterback of the field, essentially, here on the softball and baseball diamonds, as it's now a 2-1 count on Joint. Dagstead on deck for Lake Mills. 4-0 Bulldog lead as Birdie fires. Just off the inside corner, back to Joint up a step, and the count is even at 2-2. Well, talking of Coach Purdy, yesterday to get ready for today's game, she talked about maybe an adjustment in the second half of this season will be switching pitchers a little quicker, maybe more of a 50-50 split between Birdie and Nielsen as that pitch sails up high for ball 4. Joint is heading to first base. The runners are advancing on that because it went to the backstop, but it didn't matter because that pitch was ball 4. So Lake Mills has reloaded the bases, and that is walk number 3 of the inning. But again, it's tough to change pitchers this early in the game. You don't want to do that, but on a night where you're getting a few more outs, the ideal scenario is you're maybe facing the lineup once, maybe 1.5 times of one pitcher and then switching over. As we know in baseball and softball, the more times you see a pitcher, the more things start to swing towards the batter's advantage, as Coach Purdy will go out to the pitching circle to talk things over with her pitcher, Brooklyn Birdie. While she does that, we'll give a quick thank you to our video streaming sponsors presenting the Algona Radio YouTube channel, including Chemna Auto Center, Algona Municipal Utilities, Algona Frame and Auto Body, Iowa State Bank, and PMC Advantage Insurance Services. Bishop Garrigan is in danger of getting very far behind the 8 ball here in the second inning, already trailing Lake Mills 4-0, and Lake Mills has them loaded with only 1 out. Birdie trying to find that release point after walking 3 batters so far this inning, and 4 total in the game. Dagstead, who was a strikeout victim, her first time up stepping in. And like I said, that's your scariest batter for Lake Mills. Lake Mills, not a team of a ton of seniors, but Dagstead, that senior experience. Her and Joint, back-to-back seniors hitting 3 and 4 in the lineup as Bishop Garrigan brings the infield in, looking for the force play at home plate. That pitch down low for ball 1. 1-0 here on Dagstead. Well, their 2-11 record doesn't show it, but Lake Mills has been playing some better softball the past 3 or 4 games than they were early in the season. Lake Mills started the year 1-9, with 7 of those 9 losses being by at least 7 runs. Birdie rocks and delivers. Dagstead off a rocket into the gap in right center field, and that's a base hit. This is potentially going to clear the bases. Ham scores from third base. Scoring from second base is Brandenburg, and Joint will be stopped at third. It's a 2-run double to the opposite field by Dagstead, and Lake Mills jumps on Bishop Garrigan with a 6-0 lead. Great opposite field approach by Dagstead. Didn't try to pull it, didn't try to do too much, but shoots the line drive to the opposite field gap. Lake Mills decides to play conservative and not send Joint around to score. But Ham and Brandenburg do touch home plate. And Lake Mills rolling here in the second inning. 6-0 on top of Bishop Garrigan, and still only 1 out for Cora Sauer, who hit an RBI single her last time up. Pitch to Sauer. Sauer takes, and there's a called strike. 0-1 from Birdie. Well, if you look at the last 4 games for Lake Mills, they played North Union to a 2-run game. North Union was threatening to beat Lake Mills by double digits, and Lake Mills almost rallied, but lost to North Union 12-10. But with how good North Union is, that is a pretty solid performance as the 0-1 pitch fouled straight back to the screen, and a count 0-2. Lake Mills beat North Iowa 14-6. That was an impressive win, one of their 2 victories in the season. And then just their most recent game, a 3-1 defeat at the hands of Belmont Clemmy, which again, Belmont Clemmy, they're in contention for the conference title this year. So like I said, some better softball the past few games, but it hasn't translated in the win-loss column yet. 0-2 pitch, inside, and that one nearly hit Sauer. Second and third here for Lake Mills. Now a 1-2 count on Sauer. 3 runs in the first and 3 runs in the second for the Bulldogs, leading at 6-0. The sophomore Sauer hitting towards the front of that box out of a slightly crouched and squared stance. Birdie's 1-2 pitch. That is popped to the air towards second base. The first baseman Zoe Montag makes the call and makes the catch, and no one can move. Out recorded there as the runners stay at second and third. And Reese Delger, who hit a 2-run single her last time up, will be the batter for Lake Mills. Delger came into tonight with 3 RBI, had the 2 earlier, and has 2 ducks on the pond right now. It's Joint at third base, Dagstead at second. And Delger out of that squared right-handed stance. She's backed off the plate, but leaning towards home in that stance, as she'll tap the first pitch foul behind home plate. 0-1. Well, certainly not ideal for Bishop Garrigan to be behind 6-0, but remember, this Golden Bear team, they are scoring over 10 runs per game, so a lot of times 6 runs isn't enough to beat them, but certainly less than an optimal start. They've been scoring 10.2 per game, but they've been allowing 10.5 during this 5-6 start to the season. Birdie's 0-1 pitch. In there for a called strike, as Delger will step out and take a walk around the batter's box area. 0-2 count now on the Lake Mills sophomore. 3 runs in, runners at second and third for Lake Mills. A 6-0 Lake Mills Bulldog lead over Bishop Garrigan. Birdie rocks and delivers the 0-2 pitch. That's a bit up high, just above the letters, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Maya Peterson, the catcher, up next. Delger, the 8th player to bat this inning for Lake Mills. Birdie will wipe some sweat away from the brow and check the wristband before climbing back aboard the pitching rubber. Her 1-2 offering. Swing and a miss for strike 3. She tied Delger up inside, and the inning is over. But Lake Mills strikes for 3 more. It's Lake Mills 6 and Bishop Garrigan 0. Moving to the bottom of the second on KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona Tree Service.
Styles Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, animals large and small. They love them all.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
All bringing you this ball game.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Lichter's Garage Door Service and new installations. A reputation you can trust. Call 515-295-5988.
Ed Service Station, service you can trust.
J&J Custom Meats, continuing the traditions in Whittemore.
Ulrich Construction, let them do the work.
Sports club members bringing you this game.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Hannah Marin, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
Hannah Marin and the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears down 6-0 against the Lake Mills Bulldogs, as it'll be Marin, Nielsen, and Erpeling Wickman this inning for Bishop Garrigan. What a senior campaign it's been for the future Buena Vista Beaver. Marin with a .357 batting average, 6 homers and 20 runs driven in. Waving that bat above her back shoulder as she waits to attack, but she'll let the pitch go for a called strike. 1-1 count from the starting pitcher for Lake Mills, Cadence Barden. Barden working a 1-2-3 firsting with a pair of strikeouts. And she will look to throw strikes and keep Bishop Garrigan off balance with a change of speeds. Marin from that open right-handed stance. She'll watch that pitch as it catches the low outside corner to make the count 1-2. Marin hitting all the way up in the front of that box. Like I said, Barden is not going to blow you away with velocity. So if you move up a few steps, you see that ball a little bit sooner. It doesn't maybe have the chance to break that it does late. 1-2 pitch to Marin, and she swung and missed, but the ball goes to the backstop. Picked up by Peterson, throw to first base, is down the right field line as it hits Marin, and she'll be safe at first. So that's the 3rd strikeout of the game by Barden, but Marin reaches first base on the ball that went to the backstop. That pitch was going to be out of the zone, but that'll be as good of a single to start things off for the Golden Bears as Marin reaches first base. That's just the 4th time this season she has struck out, but she reaches base anyways as Carly Nielsen will now grab a stick here for Bishop Garrigan. Nielsen, 333 batting average, 9 RBI for Bishop Garrigan. Attacks the first pitch and grounds it in between third and short into left field for a base hit. Marin station to station as she will stop at second, and the Golden Bears have a little response brewing here in the second. First and second, nobody out for Lillian Erpeling-Wickman. The Bishop Garrigan freshman with a 243 batting average and 6 RBI on the season. And a chance now for Bishop Garrigan to strike. You don't need all 6 this inning, but with this situation setting up, you would love to get at least a couple. Lake Mills brings the corner infielders in. Dagstead way in at first base. Erpeling-Wickman swinging away. It's a ground ball for the middle, and that one has eyes as it goes through into center field for a base hit. Marin getting the stop sign at third as Lake Mills gets it into the cutoff man, and the bases are loaded. Erpeling-Wickman wasting no time with a slow roller up the middle, and Lake Mills will have a conference in the pitching circle. Head coach Matt Faltzgraf going out there to talk things over with their starting pitcher Cadence Barden. So chance for a big response here for Bishop Garrigan. The door opened up with that dropped third strike that allowed Marin to reach. Marin chased a pitch that was likely out of the zone, and it went to the backstop. She reached base. Then a couple of ground ball singles just finding the hole in the infield for Carly Nielsen and Lillian Erpeling-Wickman. And Shiloh Trainer will now be the batter. The Bishop Garrigan sophomore having a breakout campaign offensively with a .394 average, 1 homer, and 8 runs driven in. And now a chance to get right back into it here against Lake Mills. Like we mentioned earlier, the first time these teams met, it was a 17-5 win by Bishop Garrigan, so the Golden Bears know they have the ability to put up some runs here today if they continue to have good at-bats. And sometimes you don't even have to hit the ball hard, just put it in play. That pressurizes the defense as Lake Mills will bring the infield in. A hard-hit ground ball here, and Lake Mills will try to go home, but also harder to make the play because you're a little closer to the batter if you're the Lake Mills infielders right now. Infielders in front of the base paths, force at every base, pitch to Trainer, a high pop up third base side, it's curving to foul territory, Ham reaches up and she makes the grab and no one can advance. That's a big first pitch out as Lake Mills gets out number 1 and the bases stay loaded, and now the double play is potentially in order. Trainer was trying to elevate that ball and hit a sacrifice fly to the outfield somewhere, but ended up popping it up for the first out of the inning. Emma Garman, the batter for Bishop Garrigan. Garman just 4 at-bats this season, but 2 base hits in those 4 at-bats. It's all the way at the front of that right-handed box out of an open stance and takes ball 1 from Barden. 6-0 Lake Mills, but the bags are full of Golden Bears right now with Marin at third, Nielsen at second, and Erpeling-Wickman at first. Lake Mills keeping the infield in. 1-0 pitch, way up high for a ball. 2-0 count on Garman. As Molly Peterson waits in the on-deck circle, ready for her return to action. Could potentially be a big situation here when Peterson comes up to the plate. Bottom of the 2, Lake Mills 6-0. Pitch is down low for a ball. 3-0 count here on Garman. And this is a take at least 1 pitch, if not 2 pitch scenario for the Bishop Garrigan freshman. Garman readies herself in the batter's box. Here comes Barden with the 3-0. Called strike. That one caught the inside corner. Count 3-1. Well, you could potentially swing here 3-1, but you're still trying to be very selective right now if you're Emma Garman. Barden's 3-1 delivery. Garman attacks that one and fouls it straight back to the screen. A couple inches higher, and that one is heading straight towards the press box. But we are still out of the action here early on up here in the press box, as it's now a 3-2 count on Emma Garman. Trying to come through here with a bases loaded situation. Barden with the full count pitch. There's a fly ball towards right field. Starting in is Brandenburg. Settles under to make the catch. Marin tags up, and she is caught up between third base and home, and she'll go back to third. Marin started towards home plate. I don't think she tagged up there initially, then started to jog home to try to draw the throw. And Bishop Garrigan can't capitalize on the fly ball to right field by Garman. I mean, that's the job you ask for from the batter. Fly ball to the outfield, but Bishop Garrigan doesn't get a run out of it. And the bases are still loaded with nobody, with 2 outs that is, as Molly Peterson bats. Big return here for Molly Peterson after missing several games. Peterson attacks the first pitch and pops it up first base side, but that'll get out of play, fortunately for the Golden Bears, as a beautiful catch is made by a fan first base side. Bishop Garrigan in danger of wasting a golden opportunity right here. Bases were loaded, nobody out, and now it's on Molly Peterson to deliver a base hit. .261 average for Peterson, 1 homer, 7 runs driven in. Peterson, roller third base side foul. That one almost entered the Lake Mills third base dugout as a hit right by the entryway. And Peterson behind in the count 0-2. Barden trying for a massive punch out here against the Bishop Garrigan senior. Barden gets back to the pitching rubber here on this sun-drenched evening. The 0-2 pitch. Flared, foul territory, first base side, as that one's going to curve out of play. And Peterson stays alive and battles with an 0-2 count. After Peterson, you turn it back over to the top of the order for Alyssa Hoagland, waiting in the on-deck circle. Barden ready again. The 0-2 pitch. There's a little blooper foul first base side off the screen, and we'll do it again at an 0-2 count. Barden is coming right after Peterson on these 0-2 pitches. You have one or two offerings here if you want to waste a pitch and see if you get Peterson to expand the zone. Peterson, a veteran hitter, does not strike out a whole lot. We'll see what Barden does. 0-2 pitch. Peterson pop-up foul first base side, dropping in a hurry, and that one will hit the screen again. The catcher, Maya Peterson, ran over to give it a look, but Molly Peterson has fouled off 3 straight offerings of an 0-2 count. And Barden has shown no indication she's going to stop throwing strikes. Bags full of Golden Bears with 2 outs, defense back at its normal positioning. 0-2 pitch. There's a little blooper foul over the first base dugout again. 4 straight 0-2 foul balls by Molly Peterson. Next pitch will be number 7 of the at-bat without a single pitch out of the strike zone being thrown by Barden. Slight breeze blowing here as Barden clambers back aboard the pitching rubber. She fires on the 0-2. Peterson, a little flare job, shallow center field, and that one's down for a base hit. Marin comes home to score. Right behind her, coming to the plate, and sliding it safely head first with the run for Bishop Garrigan is Carly Nielsen. And the ball thrown to third base, thrown into left field. Here comes a third run for Bishop Garrigan. Erpeling Whitman scores, and it's 6-3. Molly Peterson wins a long, drawn-out battle. How about that? A 3-run single left field. That'll be 2 RBI for Peterson, and then the third run coming home on an error by Lake Mills on the throw back to third base. Molly Peterson ends up on second base after all of that. Didn't have to hit it hard there, but just a little blooper. 2 runs were going to score with 2 outs. But that third run came home when Lake Mills tried to throw to third base and get Erpeling Wickman. Ball got deflected into the shallow outfield, and Bishop Garrigan right back in this. Boy, did they need that. Bishop Garrigan was very close to wasting that opportunity if the base is loaded and nobody out, but now it's a good inning. Even if you don't score anymore, this is a good inning for Bishop Garrigan, answering the Lake Mills 3 of their own as Alyssa Hoagland bats. 0-for-1 with a foul to third base. Hoagland line drive towards shortstop, and diving and making the grab at shortstop is Joint. Joint got the glove underneath that on that slap to the opposite field by Hoagland, and the Golden Bears are done in the second. They do respond to 3 runs as it's Lake Mills 6, Bishop Garrigan 3 on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bacon at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Bishop Garrigan strikes back in response to Lake Mills. It's Lake Mills 6 and Bishop Garrigan 3 here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube live stream. Maya Peterson, Afton Dean, and Hillary Hansen, the scheduled hitters this inning for Lake Mills against Brooklyn Birdie. Birdie trying to settle in after giving up 3 runs in each of the first couple of innings. Bishop Garrigan has committed 3 errors unofficially so far tonight as Peterson attacks the first pitch and golfs that deep down the left field line. That'll one hop off the fence. Maya Peterson around first base. She will burn towards second. The throw will go to second, but it'll bring Erpeling Wickman off the bag, and that is a double by Maya Peterson, that is. Went down low to get that one and golf that first offering. One hop off the left field fence. That didn't look like a particularly huge swing, but that ball had plenty of distance on it as a courtesy runner will go to second base. Kenley Greenfield, the freshman, will run for the catcher, Peterson. So Lake Mills right back at it, trying to answer Bishop Garrigan's answer with an answer of their own. 3 in the first for Lake Mills, 3 in the second. Bishop Garrigan there, 3 in the second inning, as Afton Dean, who grounded out her first time up, now batting for the Lake Mills Bulldogs. Final meeting of the season between these two schools. As I said, you're about to go for the conference for the second time around. Is that process really already getting underway? Bishop Garrigan, softball-wise, does not play tomorrow. This game was originally scheduled for tomorrow night, but got moved up to tonight. As the wind of the pitch by Birdie in the dirt, smothered by Trainer, and has ball deflected a little towards the right. Thinking about advancing was Greenfield, but she stayed put as count goes to 1-0. As a result, Bishop Garrigan has an open day on their schedule tomorrow. Then on Monday, they will travel to Eagle Grove, a team that beat Bishop Garrigan 8-4 earlier this season. But Golden Bears, as Coach Purdy said, they're really focused on playing better against the teams they lost to in this second trip through, as Dean waves and misses for a strike. Count evens at 1-1. Let's be honest, folks. You'd be a fool if you think you're going to the Grove and not expecting a fight. You don't just walk into the Grove and get an automatic win, as it's a 1-1 count. Dean back into the box. Dean ground ball towards shortstop. Taken on one hop by Nielsen, guns it across and gets the out. Good strong arm there by Carly Nielsen. Advancing up to third base is Greenfield, the courtesy runner, and that is out number 1 of the inning. Number 9 hitter Hillary Hansen, who walked back in the second inning. Batting now. After that, back to the top of the order of Reagan Ham. Like Mills on Monday night, they do not play a conference game, but they do play state-ranked Osage. What a top of Iowa East conference this year. Newman Catholic, state-ranked in Class 1A. Osage and Central Springs, state-ranked in Class 2A. As there's a little tapper towards the circle, speared by Birdie. Looks towards the third base runner, but throws to first instead, as coming home to score is Greenfield. That was well played by Brooklyn Birdie. You at least look at the runner to see if you have a play. Birdie saw that she did not have a play at home plate, and then quickly changed course of direction and went to first base for the out. So job well down there, didn't try to do too much. Lake Mills does get the run home to make it 7-3, but now a more calm 2 outs, nobody on situation. Golden Bears down 7-3 as Reagan Ham, the leadoff hitter, back in. Reached by an error first time up and walked her second time. The pitch to Ham, down and in for a ball, 1-0 count. Golden Bears have scored at least 10 runs 6 different times this season in their 11 games, but they've also allowed 10 or more runs 5 different times. So 7-3 tonight. That score is probably not going to be too sticky. At some point, one of these two teams is going to punch through for a couple more runs. 1-0 pitch. Blooped foul third base side, out of the reach of the bleachers, and the count evens. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ham up right now for Lake Mills. Brandenburg on deck. As we play in the top of the third inning from Bishop Garrigan High School. The shadows are now slowly reaching across the infield as well as the right side of the outfield. The 1-1 offering to Ham. Ham ground ball through the middle, and that one is going to squeak through to center for a base hit. Reagan Ham got jammed a little bit on that one, but muscled it through, and Lake Mills has a 2-out base runner for Gabby Brandenburg. So we'll watch Ham on first base and see if she takes off. She does not have a steal so far this season, but Lake Mills does like to manufacture runs, especially with 2 outs. Brandenburg walked. She reached via an error her first time up, or her second time up, that is, driving in a run. As Birdie tries to work around the 2-out base runner. Lake Mills scoring in all 3 innings so far as that pitch is up and above the head of Brandenburg, ball 1. Golden Bears sitting on 5-6 right now, trying to get back to 500. For as many ups and downs and as much adversity this team has faced, it is easy to forget that this team is hovering right around that 500 mark as the 1-0 pitch from Birdie. Down and away for a ball, picked nicely by Trainer on the forehand side, preventing a passed ball, or what would have been a wild pitch, I should say, and a 2-2 count. That pitch skipped over in the right-handed box, but Trainer made a nice athletic play to pick that one out and keep Ham at first. But now a 2-0 count from Birdie. Now Garrigan's 5-6. They do have that 11-0 game against Forest City that they were behind. That still has to be resumed later on. As the 2-0 pitch, a wave and missed by Brandenburg. Went after one that was maybe a little bit high and brings the count to 2-1. Back into the box goes Brandenburg, 2-1 count. 7-3 Lake Mills right now. Bishop Garrigan there, half of the inning will have Peterson, Montag, and Marin. As the 2-1 pitch, up high for a ball, stealing second his hand, throw down there, slide, tag, got her! Trainer guns down the runner at second base. Her 7th caught stealing of the season. Reagan Ham is retired, and so are the Lake Mills Bulldogs. They put one more run on the board and lead it 7-3. We now move to the bottom of the third from Bishop Garrigan High School and on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Zoe Montag, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
As we come back to Bishop Garrigan High School, it's Lake Mills 7 and Bishop Garrigan 3 here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. It'll be Jenna Peterson, Zoe Montag, and Hannah Marin this inning. 2, 3, and 4 in the Golden Bear batting order. Well, first inning, Golden Bears went down 1, 2, 3, but they got the bats working in that second inning. They had 3 base hits that inning, ended up plating 3 runs, now trailed 7-3. We'll see if Peterson gets something started here. Struck out her first time against Barden, as Barden fires, and Peterson waves and misses for strike 1. It does seem in the first couple times we've seen Peterson today, she might just be trying to do a little too much. She knows that this is a pitcher she homered against earlier in the season, so it would be just human to think you could do it again as the 0-1 to Peterson. There's a swing and miss for a strike, 0-2 count. But just looks like that head is kind of flying out to the first base side as she swings. She's not really seeing the ball all the way into the bat, as coaches like to describe. And she's behind 0-2 against Barden. Barden winds and delivers. And Peterson chased one in the dirt. The ball gets away again from Maya Peterson. And safe at first is Jenna Peterson. That ball was in the dirt as Peterson, being Jenna Peterson, was fooled and chased after it. But for the second time today, Bishop Garrigan gets a runner aboard via a dropped third strike. Although that one really wasn't the catcher's fault. That's a pitch in the dirt that sometimes just doesn't get blocked. That's exactly how the last inning started, and Bishop Garrigan scored 3 runs, so we'll see what happens here. Zoe Montag, also a strikeout victim her first time up, 0 for 1 today. That was just Montag's 5th strikeout of the season as she squares to bunt, pulls it back. Big secondary lead by Jenna Peterson at first base, daring Maya Peterson to throw back behind her, but Maya Peterson does not take the dare. I don't imagine she'll let Jenna Peterson get away with that again, though. That was a huge secondary lead at first base. The 1-0 to Montag. Swinging away and cutting and missing. That's another gargantuan swing there by Zoe Montag, but Barden kept that one on the outside corner where Montag couldn't do a lot of damage to it. 1-1 count. Outfield medium deep for Lake Mills. Left fielder Dean is pulled a ways off the line, not expecting Montag to hit one down the line opposite way. 1-1 pitch. And another big cut and miss by Montag, 1-2 count. I could make the exact same comment about Zoe Montag today that I just made about Jenna Peterson. The 2 Golden Bear lefties there back-to-back are really trying to pull one out of the yard here against Barden. Barden's 1-2 delivery. Swing and a miss for strike 3. She got Montag. Much like the first at-bat, this time the third strike is held onto, and it's 1 out, 1 on for the Golden Bears for Hannah Marin. Marin a strikeout victim to her first time, but she reached via the dropped third strike. That is already 5 Ks so far in this game for Barden, who didn't come into the game with a whole lot of Ks. 47 in 65 innings for Barden as she delivers. Marin got jammed on that one, fouled it off third base side, and it's out of play to make it an 0-1 count. And Bishop Garrigan really doesn't strike out a whole lot. They've only struck out 41 times so far in their 11 games, the least strikeouts in the top of Iowa West. That, of course, is not including tonight. Barden with the motion and the 0-1 pitch. Marin blasts that one. You can tell this baby goodbye. Oh, my goodness, Hannah Marin. Wow. That was a nuke to left field, folks. No doubt about that one. Hannah Marin, home run number 7 of the season, and the Golden Bears strike for 2. Just like that, a 7-5 ball game. Hannah Marin is not going to be one to bat flip and watch the home run and prance all the way to first base, but if she had wanted to, she could have just stood in the batter's box and admired that work. That was no doubt about it, into the tree line in left field. Wow. Home run number 14 of the season for Bishop Garrigan. Golden Bears have more home runs than any team in the top of Iowa West, and a lot of that is a credit to Hannah Marin, who has half of them. There is a reason that Buena Vista wanted her to play softball there, I can tell you that. 7-5 right now, Lake Mills, as Nielsen golfs the first pitch towards second base, where it is pulled in by Sauer, and that is out number 2 of the inning as Nielsen retired on the first offering. So Nielsen goes to 1 for 2 on the night, and Lillian Erpeling-Wickman, who singled her first time up, came around to score, now stepping in. Well, this is exactly what you needed for Bishop Garrigan. Like I said earlier, you don't need all runs back in one inning, but just chipping away little by little to get back into this game as Erpeling Wickman swings in the first pitch again, fouls it off first base side, and the count 0-1. Erpeling Wickman loves the first pitch offerings. Got the first pitch base hit her last time up. Behind in the count here, 0-1. Golden Bears, they lead the top of Iowa West in slugging percentage. Came into tonight at a .576 slugging percentage, so the offense has been excellent. 0-1 pitch. That ball's flied in the air. Shallow towards right center field, racing over, and unable to make the catch is Delger. It's off her glove. Erpeling Wickman trying to stretch it into a double. The slide, the tag, and they got her at second base. That was close. Almost looked like she slid under that tag, but she is gunned down at second base. It was a nice effort by Delger in center field, ranging towards the right center gap. Tried to make the grab there, but it went off the tip of her glove. But Erpeling Wickman will be thrown out at second, and the inning is over. Golden Bears do grab 2 runs, though, on the 2-run homer by Hannah Marin, and it's 7-5 in favor of Lake Mills, heading to the 4th on KLGA 92.7.
More sports club members.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Reeves Wicked Good Bar and Grill, for wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeves.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants where everyone counts.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Lake Mills 7, Bishop Garrigan 5 as we move to the top of the 4th on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream. New pitcher for Bishop Garrigan is the 8th grader Rakaya Nielsen toes the rubber and delivers the first pitch to Gabby Brandenburg. Skip that in a foot or two in front of home plate for ball 1. Nielsen so far this season, 9 pitching appearances, 2 starts, her record 1-3, and her ERA 7.97. Nielsen of 28 walks and 13 strikeouts in 26 1/3 innings. Opponents batting .296 against the, we'll call her rising freshman for Bishop Garrigan. I don't know if the Golden Bear 8th graders like the tag of 8th grader anymore now that we're in the summer, but it's a 2-0 count as Nielsen skips the second one in as well. Brooklyn Birdie tonight for Bishop Garrigan goes 3 innings. Her unofficial final stat line looks like this. 3 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, 4 walks, and 1 strikeout. She was responsible for the 7 runs scored by Lake Mills, although a handful of those were unearned due to the 3 errors committed so far tonight by Bishop Garrigan. As Nielsen paints the corner for strike 1. Count goes to 2-1 here on Brandenburg. Brandenburg has been on base twice. 2-1 pitch. Brandenburg fought about that one, but it was below the knees to bring the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Nielsen will check the wristband here before getting back onto the rubber. Brings the hands together and fires the 3-1 and missed downstairs for a ball. Ball 4, so Gabby Brandenburg will be the leadoff base runner for Lake Mills, and the theme continues as the Golden Bears will have to work around some Lake Mills traffic with Keely Joint, the right-handed hitting senior, stepping in. Well, to end the last half inning, Lillian Erpeling Wickman had that bloop single to right center field, got thrown out at second, but I wanted to make the comment there before the inning ends. I still think that's a good play by Erpeling Wickman to try to stretch that into a double. With 2 outs, nobody on base, you're trying to get into scoring position, and you're forcing a Lake Mills outfield that is inexperienced, a young outfield, to try to make the throw to second on target. So I think that was still a good play, even though it resulted in an out. You're trying to be aggressive if you're Bishop Garrigan and push the envelope a little bit. 1-0 count on Joint. Lake Mills has scored in every inning as the next offering is below the knees for a ball. 2-0 count. Bailey Dagstead in the on-deck circle for Lake Mills. This Lake Mills team, they're only scoring 4.1 runs per game in spite of hitting over 300 with their team batting average. They've allowed just under 9.5 runs per game. Rakaya Nielsen's 2-0 pitch. That is up high for a ball, bringing the count to 3 balls and no strikes. Lake Mills hitters, they have not expanded their zone tonight. They're not going to swing at pitches that are out of the strike zone, as they've been walked 5 times tonight, once by Nielsen, 4 times by Birdie. 3-0 pitch, and that's inside for ball 4. So 4-pitch walk, and Lake Mills has first and second if nobody out after the back-to-back walks here by the new pitcher, Rakai Nielsen for Bishop Garrigan. And Bailey Dagstead will be the batter. Dagstead sprayed an RBI double to the opposite field her last time up. Got RBIs number 12 and 13 of the season, and double number 5, as Dagstead is 1 for 2 tonight, seeing Nielsen for the first time today. The wind and the pitch. Nielsen misses upstairs for a ball, 1-0 count. Golden Bear outfield playing straight away. Medium deep out there. Corner infielders Montag and Marin are about even with the bags and right on top of the lines, trying to prevent a ground ball double over the base. The 1-0 pitch by Nielsen. And that one's right down the plate for a called strike. Count evens up, 1 ball and 1 strike. Lake Mills and Bishop Garrigan. Both teams not getting a whole lot of action as of late for the rainouts. Lake Mills was just supposed to play West Hancock, but that game got rained out. Nielsen to the motion and the 1-1 offering. That is a blast, deep towards left field. Racing back is Garmin, looking up, and it's off the fence on the fly. Burning into third base is Brandenburg. She's waved around. Throw caught up by Nielsen, and she won't make the throw home. Brandenburg comes home to score. That'll go as a long single by Dagstead, who nearly left the yard for her 3rd home run of the season. Instead, she'll settle for her 3rd RBI of the game. RBI single off the left field wall. That was a play where the Lake Mills base runners, they tagged up because they weren't sure if that ball would be a home run or caught or off the fence. So that'll only be a single as it's 8-5 Lake Mills. And Dagstead, after that opening strikeout, hard hit balls in her last 2 at-bats. Cora Sauer 1 for 2 today, stepping in. Sauer squaring to bunt, reaches for it and butts it back towards the circle. Nielsen charges, bare hand grab for the first base. Not in time as Sauer beats it out. Bags are full of Lake Mills Bulldogs, and Cora Sauer has laid down 2 beautiful bunts so far tonight. Sauer had a safety squeeze bunt her first time up that went for a base hit because Bishop Garrigan had a miscommunication defensively, and that is another beautiful bunt. Nielsen did everything she could for the barehanded grab and throw, but not nearly in time. Nobody out, and Lake Mills threatening to blow this game back open. They were up 6-0 at one point, score now 8-5 as that one's in there for a called strike to Reese Delger, who's 1 for 2 with a 2-run single and a strikeout. But that's the thing. If you're Bishop Garrigan, I know I sound like a broken record, but if you keep giving these opposing teams free base runners, you're going to have innings like this. The 0-1 pitch, upstairs for a ball, 2-0 count. Check that, 1-1 count. But that is one of the cardinal rules of baseball and softball, that a leadoff walk will pretty much always come back to haunt you, and it has this inning for Bishop Garrigan. Nielsen with the 1-1 delivery. Popped foul by Delger, third base side, into the Lake Mills seating area as that one clangs off the bleachers. Not a very hearty effort there by the Lake Mills fans to try to make a catch. The Garrigan fans are trained very well first base side. I'll give them this. They are always going for the foul balls, ladies and gents. We've seen a couple of flubs this season, but we've seen a couple of great catches as well from the Garrigan fans. But the road fans here, they're not used to the angles the ball comes off the bat over to that third base side. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Nielsen got Delger to fish for one that was down and out of the strike zone, and that's a big first out of the inning. Golden Bears still have a force play at every base. Infield will stay in as Maya Peterson bats. Peterson with a double and a ground out so far today, 1 for 2. So 1 out. Bags full of Lake Mills Bulldogs of Joint at third, Dagstead at second, and Sauer at first. Pitches downstairs for a ball. Trainer getting a workout behind home plate. As per usual from the catching position, count goes to 1-0. Bishop Garrigan's last 2 games, a 20-9 win over West Hancock on Friday night, and a 14-13 loss to North Iowa on Monday night. Those, of course, both being last week rather than this week, as there's a wave into this, even in count at 1-1. We could be heading towards a very similar final score here today, whether it's Lake Mills or Bishop Garrigan coming out on top in this one. Golden Bear infield in, looking for the play at home. 1-1 pitch. Peterson ground ball towards third base, and that one is a fair ball. It's a fair ball over the bag. Coming home to score is Joint. Dagstead being waved around, and she'll touch home as well. It's an RBI double by Maya Peterson. Lake Mills is pulling away once again, 10-5 Bulldogs. That was right over the bag at third base. And Coach Purdy is saying that ball did not go over the third base bag, stating that very bluntly to the home plate umpire. She says that ball was in foul territory. She can argue, but those calls very rarely get changed, as that'll be a 2-run double. That was as borderline as it gets, folks. I am not going to pretend I know what the call is there because from directly behind home plate, it's not an angle where we could really tell if it was over third base or if it was in foul territory, but it's a game of inches, and that was a play of inches as Peterson gets the 2-run double. But Coach Purdy will at very least make her displeasure known to the umpire after that. So second and third for Lake Mills, 1 out, and the forced play is out of the equation. Golden Bears back up the middle infielders and keep the corner infielders slightly in. But it's now a tag play at home plate as Afton Dean steps in. Dean takes downstairs, trainer blocks it. Ball kicks towards the third base side and unable to advance Sauer at third base. That ball not far enough away for Sauer to go anywhere. 10-5 Lake Mills. Bishop Garrigan had it down to 7-5 going into this inning, but another 3-run inning by the Bulldogs. 3, 3, 1, and 3 so far in the 4 innings for Lake Mills, and they're not done in this one. 1-0 pitch is ripped to left field by Dean, and that one is foul. Just foul there for Afton Dean. That ball looked like a 2-run double into left field corner, but ever so slightly out in front. Golden Bears breathe a sigh of relief as the count goes to 1-1. Dean, 4 for 16 at the plate coming into tonight. Does have 1 double on the season and 1 RBI. Dean out of that squared right-handed stance back into the box. Nielsen fires the 1-1. Dean ground ball back for the middle, and that one is a diving stop by Erpelin Wickman at second base. Tries to throw to first, but not nearly in time. A valiant effort by Lillian Erpelin Wickman, and at minimum, that'll prevent it from being a 2-run single, but the run does score. RBI base hit Afton Dean, and runners at the corners now for Lake Mills, leading 11-5. But that's what coaches always say to the infielders, dive to knock it down, because that way, instead of 2 runs scoring, the runner at second base can only go to third. Still a chance to score her, but at very least, it keeps the runner off the scoreboard for now, as the number 9 hitter, Hillary Hansen, steps in. Outfield is going to come way in here for the number 9 hitter, Hansen. Infield sneaking in, expecting potentially a slap bunt, as that pitch is downstairs for a ball. 1-0 count. 2 walks to start the inning, and then after that, it was 2 base hits followed by a strikeout, followed by 2 more base hits. Lake Mills on top, 11-5 over Bishop Garrigan. Rocking and delivering is Nielsen. Pitches eye level for a ball. 2-0 count to Hansen. Well, even if this at bat doesn't end in a walk, Nielsen has really put the Lake Mills hitters in some advantageous hitters counts where they can really just zone in on one pitch and try to do some damage. The 2-0 to Hansen. Hansen fought about it, but she checked her swing. Pitch upstairs for a ball. 3-0 count. After this, it turns back over to the top of the order with Reagan Ham in the on-deck circle. Lake Mills 11 and Bishop Garrigan 5. Nielsen spins the ball in the right palm. The rising freshman rocks and delivers the 3-0. Downstairs ball 4. That'll be walk number 3 of the inning, and the bases are reloaded here for Lake Mills Bulldogs, and Coach Purdy will go back out to the pitching circle to talk things over for Kaya Nielsen. Well, it looked like not too long ago, Addie Bartolo may have been taking some warm-up tosses for Bishop Garrigan. She's thrown a few innings this year. Usually it's been Nielsen and Birdie as the 1-2 punch. And I think they're going to enter Birdie back into this ball game. So Nielsen will be done here after getting 1 out in the 4th inning, and Birdie will re-enter. We'll let Brooklyn Birdie take those warm-up tosses, and we'll come back after this on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass. For all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires. They're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykirk Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Grassmasters. Growing satisfied customers.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Glenn's Green Thumb. From a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Brooklyn Birdie has re-entered the ballgame for Bishop Garrigan. Coach Purdy trying to prevent this game from getting out of control in the fourth inning as Lake Mills leads 11-5, as it was a tough outing for Rakai Nielsen, who goes a third of an inning tonight, responsible for the bases being loaded, as pitches down and in to Reagan Ham for a ball, 2-0 count. It's a third of an inning for Nielsen, 3 walks, 1 strikeout, 4 hits allowed. She is responsible for the 4 runs that have scored so far, plus the 3 runners on base, should any of those runs score. The wind of the pitch by Birdie. Inside for a ball, and it hits Ham. It hits Ham, and that'll drive home a run for Lake Mills. Ham, the 9th batter of the inning with the RBI hit by pitch, and it is 12-5 Lake Mills Bulldogs. Well, resetting the base paths now, it'll be Dean on third base, Hanson on second, Ham at first. And now for the middle of the batting order, Gabby Brandenburg, who began this whole inning with a walk. 12-5 Lake Mills here. Bases loaded, 1 out. Infield in for Bishop Garrigan. Pitches way outside. Trainer deflects it up the third base line. Birdie better get home and cover home plate. That ball deflected all the way towards third base. If that ball's a little bit wider, Dean can run home from third because Birdie didn't move out of the pitching circle to cover home plate. Now, if Dean tries to break for home, Trainer's actually close enough to the baseline that maybe she could have just outrun her and tagged her out along the baseline, but Golden Bears may have caught a break there on that pitch. 1-0 count. Swing and miss by Brandenburg. Tried to chop that one, but count evens at 1-1. It is Dean at third base, Hanson at second, Ham at first. As Dean gets a talking to from the third base coach, who is maybe saying that she didn't get a good read or a good look at that play. There's a bunt and a foul by Brandenburg. Fouls it back behind home plate as the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lake Mills striking for 5 runs so far this inning. They had 3 in the first, 3 in the second, and 1 in the third. The Bishop Garrigan 2-run homer by Hannah Marin, now a distant memory as the Golden Bears fought back from a 6-0 deficit to make it 7-5, but now trail at 12-5. The 1-2 pitch upstairs, that'll bend Brandenburg back a little bit, and even the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 8th grader Rakai Nielsen exiting the game. Birdie, the freshman who started the game, back in the circle now after going the first 3 innings. She rocks and delivers. Down and away for a ball as the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So payoff pitches upcoming here. Golden Bears have already hit by pitch in a run this inning. Birdie checks the wristband once more. Her 3-2 delivery. A foul tip held on to for strike 3. That pitch was about letter high, fouled back into the glove of Trainer, and Gabby Brandenburg is retired for a big second out of the inning. But now you have to go for the number 3 and potentially number 4 hitters should Joint get on base. Keely Joint, the number 3 hitter, has been on all 3 times with a couple of walks and also reaching on an error her first time up. Well, you stay in striking range here if you can get Joint out. I know 7 runs feels like a lot, but for the way Bishop Garrigan can score, it's not out of the woods yet. Birdie winds and delivers. Joint waves and misses for strike 1. Birdie keeping that offering down and away to the number 3 hitter for Lake Mills. 0-1 count. Outfield straight up, medium deep for Bishop Garrigan. Infield back to normal depth here of 2 outs. Maybe Montag a step in front of the runner at first base. Birdie's 0-1 offering. Pulled it up and away for a ball as Trainer has to leap out of her stance to grab that one. Count evens, 1 ball and 1 strike. Golden Bears had 17 runs first time they faced Lake Mills, had 20 hits in that ball game. They may need some of that kind of production here to come back in this one tonight. 1-1 count from Birdie, who delivers downstairs for a ball. 2-1 count. Lake Mills on top. 12-5 right now here from Bishop Garrigan High School and on Hometown Radio KLGA. Birdie towing the third base side of the pitching rubber. Fires the 2-1 pitch. Joint for cut and a miss for a strike. Birdie elevated that offering. Doing a good job here against Joint, working the high and low parts of the strike zone as the count evens. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bishop Garrigan trying to keep this inning to 5. And straight the bases loaded for Lake Mills. Right side of the infield shallow for Bishop Garrigan. Left side back at normal depth. And a 2-2 count right now on Joint, the right-handed hitter. Birdie's pitch. Sails to the backstop. Here comes the run from third base. Throws to the plate. Slide tag. Not in time. Afton Dean comes home to score. And Lake Mills puts a run on the scoreboard to make it 13-5. Runners move up to second and third base as well. It's now Hanson at third. Ham at second. And a full count pitch upcoming here to Joint. Now it's a little tougher defensively on a ground ball. There's no longer a force play at every base. There's only a force play at first. It would be a tag play anywhere else, but with 2 outs, you'd be focused on the out at first base. Birdie will take a look back towards the Garrigan first base dugout. Back onto the pitching upper here for the 3-2 delivery. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Birdie will retire joint, but Lake Mills sends 11 batters to the plate, and they score 6 runs. Lake Mills back in control, 13-5 on top of Bishop Garrigan, heading to the bottom of the 4th on KLGA 92.7.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona tree service.
Styles Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, animals large and small. They love them all.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
All bringing you this ball game.
Lake Mills 13 and Bishop Garrigan 5 heading to the bottom of the 4th as Shiloh Trainer first pitch swinging, grounds it foul, third base side. 0-1 count here on the Bishop Garrigan sophomore as Cadence Barton goes back to work. Trainer tonight popped out to third base her first time up, 0-for-1. Cadence Barton has been throwing strikes for Lake Mills. Bishop Garrigan has hit her hard a couple of times tonight, but the Lake Mills offense has provided plenty of support, leading 13-5 right now over the Golden Bears. 0-1 count to Trainer as Barton goes back to work. 0-1 pitch. That ball is hit in the air, left center field, dropping quickly, and miscommunication in the outfield. It drops her a base hit. Trainer is going to try to stretch it to 2, and she's into second base. Delger, the center fielder, had a beat on that ball. That is the center fielder's ball the whole way, ladies and gentlemen, but for some reason at the last minute, Delger pulled her head up and looked at left fielder Dean, and Dean looked at her and said, I don't know, you're the center fielder, it's your ball. So Trainer gets a gift double for Bishop Garrigan, and a courtesy runner will enter the ball game. So Golden Bears have a runner at second base, nobody out, trying to answer back. The runner is going to be Kate Berkey, Bishop Garrigan freshman, and the batter will be Emma Garman, who hit a little flare to right field her first time up. 0-for-1 tonight. So double by Trainer, and the beat goes on. Golden Bears trying to get back into this game after Lake Mills scored 6 in the top of this inning. But this Golden Bear offense, they certainly still have a lot to say about this one, as the first offering to Garman. And that one catches the zone for a called strike. 0-1 count. The shadows are now all across the first base line and even across second base as well. Third base is now the only base on the infield that's in sunlight, although center field and left field still in the sunshine here from Bishop Garrigan's softball diamond. 0-1 pitch. Garman a little slow roller towards third base. Ham grabs it, guns to first base in time for the out. And Berkey able to advance to third. Ball gets thrown away, and Berkey restarts. Here she comes to home plate, and Bishop Garrigan gets a score out of that. Lake Mills throws the ball away and puts a run on the board for Bishop Garrigan. Berkey scores, and that'll make it a 13-6 ball game. So we'll say job done there for Emma Garman. Not necessarily your traditional way to drive in a run. Not technically an RBI due to the error, but it gets the run home and makes it 13-6 as Molly Peterson, who singled and drove in 2 runs her first time up, steps in. 1 out, 13-6 as Peterson with a big, healthy cut in the miss of the first offering, 0-1 count. Peterson with a grand slam last time these two teams matched up, and that 17-5 Bishop Garrigan win. The home plate area actually now in sunshine. Those ash trees along the first base line not really providing a whole lot of shade for the home plate area as Peterson fouls that straight back to the screen, count 0-2. But we are up here in the broadcast booth in one of the 98 out of the 99 counties here in Iowa affected by the emerald ash borer. But as Beanie has told us many times, those ash trees on the first base side, they're treated. The ash borers aren't going to touch them as Peterson pops that one up in the air towards second base. Her counterpart, Cora Sauer, puts that one away, and that is out number 2 of the inning as Molly Peterson is retired. So 1 run in so far, but now 2 outs and nobody on base as the Golden Bears turn it back over to the top of the batting order for Alyssa Hoagland, who is 0-for-2 tonight. A pop out her first time up, and then a soft line out on the infield her second time up on a nice diving play by the shortstop Keely Joint. The wind of the pitch to Hoagland. Hoagland tries to tap it up in the air, and a diving grab in the pitching circle by Barden. Barden charges forward, lays out at full extension, and grabs that ball from Hoagland, who has a potential infield base hit taken away from her for out number 3. So Hoagland now 0 for 3 tonight, and the Golden Bears are done here in the bottom of the 4th inning. We move to the top half of inning number 5, Lake Mills 13 and Bishop Garrigan 6 on KLGA Hometown Radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass. For all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires. They're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Grassmasters. Growing satisfied customers.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Glenn's Green Thumb. From a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Coach Purdy, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
Bailey Dagstead up to the plate. She has torched Bishop Garrigan so far tonight with 2 RBI base hits. Lake Mills on top 13-6, as it'll be hitters number 4, 5, and 6 in the batting order. Dagstead 2 for 3 tonight with 3 runs driven in out of that squared and crouched right-handed stance. Dagstead ready to explode, but she pops it up left side of the infield. In is Birdie, in is Marin, and they run into each other in foul territory, and the ball drops. And it's been that kind of a night defensively for Bishop Garrigan. That'll be their 4th error of the ball game, whether or not Dagstead reaches base. And again, it's the small things. I say that every game, folks, but it is the small things. You've got to communicate defensively. Again, I'm up here in the press box. I don't know who is calling that ball or if they heard each other or not, but someone has to scream for that ball and take charge. You just have to be heard on a play like that. That has to be turned into an out if you're Bishop Garrigan. 0-2 count here on Dagstead. And the best hitter on Lake Mills is given a second chance. Golden Bear outfield straight up, as Birdie will try to buckle down here and get the first out of the infield, of the inning, that is. The 0-2 pitch. That one sails upstairs for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strike count. Well, Lake Mills has scored in all 4 innings so far in this game. Bishop Garrigan scoring in 3 out of the 4 innings. The only inning the Golden Bears did not score in was the bottom of the 1st. Birdie will give a quick check of the wristband. She'll come back with the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3, so she ends up getting Dagstead out anyways. And Birdie has now struck out 3 consecutive Lake Mills batters, as that is out number 1 of the inning. That'll bring Cora Sauer to the plate, as Sauer has recorded 2 bunt singles so far in this game, sandwiched around a pop-out, as she is 2 for 3 tonight. Well, folks, of course, we'd love to get you updated here on the Bishop Garrigan Sports, all Golden Bear Athletics on Hometown Radio KLGA, but we're going to update you on a different kind of bear here in the 5th inning. I hope our listeners are familiar with the concept of Florida Man. If they're not, I'm going to explain it here. So, for those of you folks who don't know, all of the weirdest news stories in the U.S. happen with the state of Florida. As that pitch goes to the backstop, count as 1-0. And, of course, those stories produce crazy headlines. Something like, Florida Man throws an alligator through the drive-through window. Something like that. All the craziest headlines feature the words Florida Man, followed by some crazy action that occurs after that. As Birdie brings the 1-0 pitch upstairs for a ball 2 count. So that's the concept of Florida Man. People on the internet are acting like Florida Man is just one individual person doing all these crazy things instead of just a bunch of different people from Florida doing all these crazy things like throwing alligators in drive-through windows and driving golf carts into the golf cart ponds and that sort of thing. But we have a Florida Bear situation going on as the 2-0 pitch from Birdie, and that is a bit outside for a ball, 3-0 count. Last week, a couple of Florida residents were horrified to see a bear in their hot tub. Yes, they had a hot tub in their backyard in the state of Florida for some reason, and a bear was inside enjoying the beautiful Florida sunshine. A 3-0 pitch to Sauer, and that is ball 4 as Sauer draws the 4-pitch walk. It'll be a run-out base runner for Lake Mills. And Reese Delger coming to the plate. Delger 1 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts and a 2-run single. After the bear got done on the hot tub, it took the couch cushions out off the outside couch these residents had, and it took a 6-hour nap, which, to be honest, folks, that is completely relatable. I can understand that part of it completely, but the bear took a 6-hour nap, and these residents had to call for help to remove the bear from their premises. Sauer is stealing second base, head first slide, and she is in there safely in spite of the throw by Trainer. So Sauer will swipe that bag, her 7th steal of the year, and Lake Mills has a runner at second base with only 1 out. And the great naturalists in the state of Florida, they had to use some glazed donuts to lure the bear in, but eventually they lured the bear in and they got it back to a state park in the state of Florida. So all it took were donuts. I'll tell you this, folks. Gary the Bear would never. 1-0 pitch. Squaring to bunt is Delger. She'll take it, and that's a called strike, catching the high outside corner. Gary the Bear is a fit bear, ladies and gents. He's in the gym pumping iron. He's doing the bench presses, the curls, the squats, the deadlifts. Gary the Bear is a bear that's in shape. He's not eating donuts. He is eating salmon fillets, only the highest protein foods you could get. As the 1-1 pitch by Birdie. That's a hard one hopper towards shortstop, and that one is through into center field for a base hit. Sauer waved around third base. She'll come to the plate. Hoagland's throws up the third base line as Sauer scores, and it's 14-6 Lake Mills. Delger goes to second base on the throw home. That was a situation where it was a good call by Garrigan to try to get that run at home plate because they did have a play on that, but that throw by Hoagland up the third base line took Trainer away from the play, and Delger has her second RBI base hit of the night, 14-6 Lake Mills. Maya Peterson has doubled in her last 2 at-bats, and she's at the plate. So all's well that ends well, folks. That Florida bear relocated to a state park, but those bears in Florida, you never know what they're going to do next. In there for a called strike, 0-1. I would like to see how Gary the Bear would do down in the Sunshine State, though. If you think that Gary the Bear costume is warm here on a summer night in Iowa when it's in the 80s, just wait until you get into the muggy swampland down south in the U.S. The 0-1 pitch upstairs for a ball. And the count evens at 1-1. So we'll see what the Florida Bear situation looks like going forward. But here in Iowa, the Bears are down 14-6 against Lake Mills. This has been a pretty much reversal of the last time these two teams matched up when Lake Mills was defeated by Bishop Garrigan 17-5. Maya Peterson, 2 for 3 tonight, working with a 1-1 count. Peterson rips that one past third and left field for a base hit. Scooped up quickly by Garman, and she'll keep the runner at third base as Delger goes station to station. But Maya Peterson, with her 3rd base hit in a row, she's now 3 for 4 tonight for Lake Mills. And Lake Mills is trying to put a hurting on Bishop Garrigan here in the 5th inning. Now you're thinking about a potential run rule for Lake Mills. Obviously, Garrigan will bat in the bottom of the 5th inning, but knowing the Golden Bear offense, you'd like to add a few insurance runs if you're Lake Mills and make sure this gets high enough where Garrigan can't get it back and can't continue this game. Because, again, as far away as 14-6 seems, this Bishop Garrigan offense, they're capable of putting a 6th spot on the scoreboard just like Lake Mills did earlier in the ball game. And we are going to see another pitching change for Bishop Garrigan. So a new pitcher is coming in. We will tell you about that pitcher coming up after this on KLGA 92.7 and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa bone, joint, and sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Gray Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
Lake Mills with a relentless attack tonight against Bishop Garrigan. 14-6 with 1 out in the top of the 5th inning. And the 3rd pitcher of the night for Bishop Garrigan taking over, Addie Bartolo, the Bishop Garrigan 8th grader, making her 4th varsity pitching appearance of the season. Bartolo winds and delivers. Dean shows bunch, will pull it back, and we'll see a second base bag taken there by the courtesy runner for Lake Mills, Greenfield. So Greenfield takes second uncontested. It's 2nd and 3rd now for the Bulldogs as Addie Bartolo pitches in her 4th varsity game of the season. She's thrown 4 innings so far, a 12.25 ERA with 6 strikeouts and 5 walks, .279 opposing batting average as Bartolo winds and fires, misses upstairs for a ball, and it's a 2-0 count. Just a tough day for Rakaya Nielsen and Brooklyn Birdie. Lake Mills with plenty of hits tonight, but just not enough strikes being thrown by the Bishop Garrigan pitchers, even in the at-bats that didn't end with a walk. A lot of falling behind, a lot of hitters counts, 2-0, 3-1. And Lake Mills has feasted so far in this ball game in those situations as Trainer and Bartolo get on the same page here sign-wise, talking in the pitching circle right now with a 2-0 count and a 14-6 Lake Mills lead. Our video stream tonight brought to you in part by Chemna Auto Center, Algona Municipal Utilities, Algona Frame and Auto Body, Iowa State Bank, and PMC Advantage Insurance Services as Bartolo goes back to work. The 8th graders 2-0 delivery. That one is lined towards second base. Caught by Erpeling Wickman. Looks back to second base, but the Lake Mills base runners wisely scamper back as they didn't get too far away. Out is recorded on Afton Dean on the line up to second, and now it's 2 away. Lake Mills, 1 run thus far this inning. And Bishop Garrigan trying to strand those other runners as it'll be Hillary Hansen, left-handed hitting designated player tonight, batting for Lake Mills. And Bartolo trying to strand that inherited runner from Birdie. The wind and the pitch. That is upstairs for a ball, and it's a 1-0 count. It's Delger at third base, Peterson at second. Both those runners are the responsibility of Birdie as far as the scorekeeping is concerned. But Bartolo trying to play the fireman role here and strand the runners on base. The 1-0 pitch. Outside corner called strike. Hansen not in agreement, but she'll settle here for 1-1 count. Garrigan very shallow in the outfield. Their outfield is a couple of steps behind the infield dirt. With 2 outs, second and third for Lake Mills. And an 8-run Bulldog lead right now. The 1-1 delivery. High for a ball as Bartolo glimpses towards the first base dugout, and the count goes to 2-1. Well, Garrigan does have a lot of different pitchers in that 8th grade class, as you've heard Coach Purdy talk about in the past. Of course, Rakaya Nielsen's got the most varsity action, but Bartolo as well, as that one is popped up on the infield, foul territory. Trainer behind home plate makes the grab third base side, and Hansen is retired to end the inning. Lake Mills scores another run as they push ahead 14-6 over Bishop Garrigan. Golden Bears turn to bat next on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass. For all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires. They're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Grassmasters. Growing satisfied customers.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Glenn's Green Thumb. From a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Molly Peterson, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
As we come back here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream, Bishop Garrigan will head through the middle of their batting order of Jenna Peterson, Zoe Montag, and Hannah Marin. But right now, Lake Mills on top of Bishop Garrigan 14-6. And remember this year, new run rules in Iowa high school softball. As the wind of the pitch by Barden, Peterson rolls it towards second base. It is scooped up by Sauer. She'll throw to first base, and Jenna Peterson retired on the first pitch. A tough night for Peterson, who's now 0 for 3. But run rule-wise, it is 10 runs after 4 innings, and it's 8 runs after the 5th and 6th innings. As Garrigan has to score at least 1 this inning, down by 8 right now, as Zoe Montag 0 for 2 tonight with a pair of strikeouts. But it's really been a tough night in a lot of different phases for the Golden Bears. The errors have piled up defensively, a lot of walks from the pitching staff. The wind and the pitch to Montag, and that one is downstairs for a ball, 1-0 count. And even though the offense has produced 6 runs, just too many strikeouts so far tonight for this Golden Bear team. They have fanned 5 times for the first 4 innings against Barden. Cadence Barden with the 1-0 pitch. Montag badly fooled on that changeup as the count evens 1-1. Montag has definitely felt these days off. Bishop Garrigan has not played in 6 days in an official game. And Montag trying to swing out of the shoes here and get back into the action. The 1-1 pitch. And there's a changeup that floats into the top of the zone for a strike. Montag behind 1-2. But that's been the thing in this game. When that changeup has come in by Barden, the Golden Bear hitters are just trying to do way too much of it. You just have to be patient and wait back on that. And sometimes you have to settle for a single. The 1-2 from Barden. Montag, fly ball left field, curving towards the line. That ball is in no man's land, and it drops for a base hit. It rolls into foul territory. Montag chugging towards second base, and she has a double. Little bloop job to the opposite field by Zoe Montag. That ball stayed up in the sky for what seemed like hours, but with a left-handed hitter at the plate, the left fielder Dean was playing way off the line and couldn't get there. If that is a righty at the plate hitting that ball, Dean makes the catch for the second out of the inning, but for lefty and Dean off the line, Montag is safe at first base, at second base that is. Montag doubles wise on the season. That is number 4. Pitch to Marin. Marin for Rockets. Deep left field, but foul. That was even more prodigious than her home run earlier this game, and she is now intentionally walked. Lake Mills says not a chance. She is seeing another strike here tonight. After a rip job foul, Lake Mills says we're not even trying that. Intentional walk for Hannah Marin. They changed their mind after seeing that foul ball. They were going to pitch to her. They saw a foul ball that traveled 875 feet. Just an estimate on my part, sometimes a little off, but they are now intentionally walking her as Nielsen rolls it towards third base. It's off the glove of hand, but deflects towards shortstop. Montag being waved home, but she'll now stop at the last minute. Coach Purdy wanted Montag to go home there, but Montag was a little slow getting around the bag and then decided to stop at the last minute. But that's all right if you're Bishop Garrigan. Bags are now loaded. We'll call that an E5 on the third baseman, and a chance to extend this ball game as Lake Mills will have a conference in the pitching circle with Coach Faltzgraff in the infield. Well, now you're just talking defensively about what to do. If you're Lake Mills, the priority is get the out at home plate and preserve this 8-run lead. So I'd imagine the infield will come in here for Lillian Erpeling-Wickman. You could think double play, but with these close bases, it is very hard to turn a double play, and Erpeling-Wickman with good speed from the right-handed box. So you'd think here it would just be a go home on an infield ground ball situation if you're Lake Mills. Erpeling-Wickman today, 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. Boy, I just can't get over that Hannah Marin foul ball, folks. I'm sorry. I know that was 2 at-bats ago, but it is a shame she didn't get a chance to see another pitch. And that's the thing, Hannah Marin, she's been walked now 12 times this season. Of course, not all of those are intentional, but she's been walked more than any other Golden Bear batter. Here's the pitch to Erpeling-Wickman. Attacks the first offering, ground ball towards short. Backhanded step by Joint. She's coming home, and she got the out at home plate. What a play by Keely Joint. Retires Montag at home. The backhanded stab and throw. No time to react. You just had to do right there. And that is exactly what Lake Mills talked over in that previous timeout. So 1 out remaining here for the Golden Bears as Trainer tries to bring home at least 1 and extend this game. Bishop Garrigan down 14-6. Trainer for pop out and a double so far in this ball game. But going into this game, Bishop Garrigan had walked 38 times, 11 of those by Marin. So over a quarter of Bishop Garrigan's walks by Hannah Marin alone as Trainer hits a sky-high pop-up behind home plate. Maya Peterson looking for it. Peterson makes the grab, and Lake Mills is going to take this one tonight. 14-6 over Bishop Garrigan. They will run-rule the Golden Bears here in the 5th inning, and Lake Mills gets some revenge for that earlier season win. We will step aside for a timeout. We'll wrap it up after this on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
More sports club members.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Reeves Wicked Good Bar and Grill, for wicked good food, drinks, and service, you've got to go to Reeves.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC. For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa bone, joint, and sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
A night to forget for the Bishop Garrigan softball team as they lose this one 14-6 against Lake Mills in 5 innings. I'm Tyler Lance, wrapping things up on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. A tough night all around as we'll look at a few numbers from this game and then wrap things up for tonight. The stat line looked like this for the Lake Mills Bulldogs. They score 14 runs. They do it on 11 hits. Lake Mills commits 2 errors tonight, and they leave 7 runners stranded on base. For Bishop Garrigan, they score 6 runs on 7 hits, commit 4 errors tonight, and leave 4 on base in our unofficial final stats. Lake Mills scored in every inning. It was 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 1 in the third, 6 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth. For Bishop Garrigan, they were scoreless in the first, scored 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and were held scoreless in the 5th inning as they leave the bases loaded to end the ball game. But a tough night all around for Bishop Garrigan. I'll put it bluntly, folks. Bishop Garrigan looked like a team that had 6 days off here today. They were not really sharp at any phase of the ball game, and that is an excuse, but it's not an excuse. Of course, it is the truth. Bishop Garrigan has not played a varsity game since Friday night against West Hancock, but the thing is, it's really similar with Lake Mills. They've had a lot of rainouts as well, so neither of these teams has played a whole lot of varsity games as of late, but Lake Mills was the much, much sharper team tonight against Bishop Garrigan. And I think the disheartening thing if you're the Golden Bears tonight is that it was really a lot of the same mistakes that we've just been seeing crop up all too much throughout the season. Too many walks from the pitching staff, 4 errors defensively, and runners left in scoring position on offense. Just some of the same themes that have come up to bite Bishop Garrigan earlier on in the season. They came back here tonight. So it is a tough one tonight for the Golden Bears. They lose it and they fall to 5-7. Lake Mills, who has been playing better softball lately, they do pick up their 3rd win of the season as they improve to 3-11. But now, this is really a crossroads for this Bishop Garrigan softball team, if I do say so, here heading into next week. You don't play tomorrow night, you have the weekend off, and then it's on to Eagle Grove on Monday night. And I think this Golden Bears softball team has to answer the question of what they want the second half to look like. Do they want another night like this where there's just too many errors and too many walks and just nothing really clicks, and you just really don't respond to the adversity that the opposing team presents well, or do you rise to the occasion? Like Bishop Garrigan, they're going to take some punches and they'll see some adversity here in the second half of the season, but I think the coaches will tell you after this game that they do not want to see a whole lot of other nights that play out like this. So I think it's a decision that the team kind of have to make. What do you want the second half to look like? It's a tough night like tonight. You don't want to overreact to one game, but it's a game that you certainly don't want to see repeated going forward if you're Bishop Garrigan. That is usually the beauty of softball. Normally, you have a game like this and you bounce right back the next night and have a new game and a fresh start, but unfortunately this week, it's the only game Bishop Garrigan has on their schedule due to the rainouts and due to not having a game tomorrow night. So next week, assuming Mother Nature will allow us to have these games, we'll have a more full schedule for Bishop Garrigan softball, but a tough way to have your only game of the week go this way tonight for Bishop Garrigan. Kudos though to Lake Mills. I mean, they kept the pressure on all night long, up and down the lineup, everyone reaching base for Lake Mills, those 11 base hits, and their pitcher, Cadence Barden, you know, she took some hits, gave up that big home run to Hannah Marin earlier on, but she threw strikes in tonight's game and did enough to get Lake Mills the win in this one, 14-6, as the Bulldogs improved to 3-11 on the season. Bishop Garrigan falling to 5-7. So we'll see what the response is now from Bishop Garrigan. They will have the weekend to think about it, and then it's off to Eagle Grove on Monday night. Lake Mills, they're going to be playing Osage coming up in their next game, a state-ranked Class 2A team. For our broadcast tomorrow night, we will be at the Baseball Diamond as Bishop Garrigan takes on Lake Mills in the Top of Iowa West baseball action. That'll be tomorrow night at 7:30 right here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. That is it for tonight. One final thank you to our video streaming sponsors presenting the Algona Radio YouTube stream: Kemna Auto Center, Algona Municipal Utilities, Algona Frame and Auto Body, Iowa State Bank, and PMC Advantage Insurance Services. This has been a sports production of Hometown Radio KLGA. Your final score tonight: Lake Mills 14 and Bishop Garrigan 6.